Hello guys, this morning I just want to speak about Jesus in the garden, his turmoil, and how it actually relates to us. And because what he has suffered, we can also fulfill our destiny as well. So he died he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and Gethsemane means oil pressed, a place where olive oil is pressed. Now, olive oil in the biblical times were used for consecration, being set apart for a purpose, healing, and it represented the light of God. Jesus was going to his place in his state of consecration. He was going to the place of pressing. Now he was very sorrowful and troubled. Sometimes being consecrated will lead you to a place where the oil is pressed, a place of total obedience, where you say, not my will, but your will. Now, I would like to read for us in Matthew, 26? Matthew 26. Then Jesus went with them a place called Gethsemane, and he said to the disciples, "Sit there while I go over there and pray." And taking with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me." And going a little further, he fell on his face, praying, saying, "My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as your will." And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "So could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you might not enter temptation. The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, for the second time, he went away and prayed, "My Father, if this cannot pass, I drink it, your will be done." And again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he went to pray, and prayed the third time, saying the same words again. Then he came to the disciples and said to them, "Sleep and take your rest later on. See, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." And I imagine Jesus did not only take the sons of Zebedee and Peter to the garden because they might fall into temptation. Yeah, that might be one of the reasons, but also he needed comfort. In his human form, he needed to be comforted by his friends because his soul was so greatly troubled. He said, "Watch with me and pray. My soul is greatly troubled." And Jesus was fully alone here because even his friends fell asleep. They did not understand or experience the turmoil he was experiencing in that garden. They did not grasp the urgency or the turmoil of this. Now, I believe his turmoil came from being fully God and fully human. He bore the weight of both divinity and being human. So what I mean by that is that as God, he knew the sins of the world from beginning to end. He had knowledge of it. He knew the sins of his people. He bore that weight, and it was so heavy. And he knew if he did not go forth with it, the consequences would be dire, that there would be no sacrifice for it. He had to be the sacrifice so that his people could be free. And he knew the victory that his blood would supply. That was a heavy weight to bear, but in his flesh he also knew the gruesome death that he would have to die, a criminal's death. Not even Roman citizens died this death. So that was reserved for the lowest of the low. They usually didn't even bury people when taking them off the cross. They just threw their bodies there for vultures to devour. And this was heavy for him. His body sweated blood. His body had great anxiety. And I think he also spoke to himself when he said, the spirit is willing. He wants to do this, but his flesh is weak. His flesh does not want to do this. He said, God, my Father, he cried out, my Father, if there is another way, please make a way. But there was no other way. If there was another way, it would have been done already, but there was no other way. The only way was the blood of Jesus Christ and the death of Jesus. He was consecrated for this purpose, and in the garden had to decide if he was going to be obedient to fulfill it. And he prayed this prayer 3 times, and he was obedient. Also, I forgot to add, also, his friend betrayed him. This was someone who walked with him for 3.5 years. Now, he knew he would betray him, but he still kept him close. He was in his inner circle. He went out and did miracles. He also got the same revelations that the others got. He got the revelation that he was the Son of God, and he could not accept that. And in Psalm 55, it says how David says his soul is greatly troubled. Oh, if he was just like a dove, he could flee to the mountain. I actually want to read it because I think it's a perfect representation of what Jesus went through. Okay, Psalm 55. Okay, give an ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not yourself from my plea for mercy. Attend to me and answer me. I am restless. In my complaint, I moan to you because of the noise of my enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they drop trouble on me, in anger they bear a grudge against me. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death has fallen upon me. Fear and trembling have come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would wander away. I would lodge in the wilderness. I would hurry to find shelter from the raging wind and tempest. And this is exactly what Jesus experienced in the garden. This is the turmoil his soul experienced in the garden. This is what he experienced in the garden. Then later on, in verse 12, for it is an enemy who taunts me. For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it. It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend. We used to take sweet counsel together. Within the house of God we walked in throng. My companion, in verse 20, stretched out his hand against his friends. He violated his covenant. His speech was smooth as butter, yet there was war in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet there were drawn swords. So this is a perfect description of what Judas did to Jesus. And this must have hurt him quite deeply, because he said the one who betrays the Son of Man it's better for him to not even be born. And that's quite rough. So this hurt him on a friendship level. Now, I want to make the point, a lot of times we are consecrated to a certain purpose. When you serve God diligently, you are consecrated to a certain purpose. And we find ourselves in a place of pressing, where obedience costs sacrifice. We might ask God, is there no other way? But there rarely is in such instance. Your only choice to fulfill God's will is to be obedient. Your spirit might be willing, but your flesh is weak. And Jesus understood this. He knew how hard it was. I think in Hebrews 5, it says that Jesus, wonder if I should get it. Just quickly read it. Hebrews, here we go, Hebrews 5. Since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast to our confession. We do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. So let us in confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace in our time of need. Then in verse 7, in the days of his flesh, Jesus offered up prayers and supplications with loud cries and tears to him who was able to save him from death. And he was heard because of his reverence. Although he was a son, he learned obedience through what he suffered. Being made perfect, he became the source of our eternal salvation to all who obeyed him. So Jesus, this is not unknown. We have not become obedient to the point of sweating blood. This is very, very intense. So if there is someone who knows obedience, it is Jesus, and we can relate to him because he suffered in the flesh, and we suffer also in the flesh when we do not, when we are pressed in this place. And you know what, I don't know about other people, but there's times where you will be in a place of pressing, and the choice or the obedience seems intense. You can either choose this, which seems so much easier, so much better, or you can choose to be obedient, which might put you in a period of maybe a bit of hardship. But the ultimate choice to serve God and be obedient will be much better. Now, if you have not made that choice, stand up and let God work out in your character until you are obedient. Submit yourself to God again. Just repent and say, Jesus, I'm sorry, I want to be obedient. I just can't. My flesh is weak. Please help me. Not my will, but your will. Now, the obedience of Jesus was such a big thing. It did not only bring salvation, it did not only let us be children of God. According to Ephesians 2, we are adopted into his family. And this is a close-knit family. It's not a family where you call once a month. No, he wants to be close-knit. He wants us to approach him every day. He wants to commune with us every day, even more than once a day. So this is a close-knit family. So not only are we adopted in God, or in God's family, Jesus made a way. He shamed the enemy on the cross. Now, the enemy, the kingdom of the enemy, is a dark kingdom. He wants you. He does not hesitate to try everything in his means to get you to hell. If there's a way to get you to hell, he will do it. He studies you. He studies your weakness. He wants to tempt you so much that you fall away from God, or that you do not accept God in your life, and that you go to hell. Now, this is very serious. this puts a new perspective on the kingdom suffers violence, and the violent, they take it by force. So this is what Jesus did. Because the enemy is so violent, he's violently after your soul. Jesus died a violent death for your soul, to save your soul, to make a way for your soul to be saved. So the kingdom suffers violence, but the violent take it by force, and Jesus is violent for his kingdom. And he cares about your soul, and he wants everybody to come to the knowledge of Christ. He wants you in his kingdom, no matter what you did, what you've gone through. If you accept his blood and what he has done on the cross, and that he raised from the dead, you are qualified to go to heaven. So, the obedience of Jesus freed us from the bondage of sin. We do not have the nature of sin. The law of sin has been put to death, and we have been resurrected through Jesus Christ with a new law of the Spirit. So we do not have to sin anymore. The law of sin has been put to death. When something has been put to death, it can't go up again. It can't be raised up again. And Jesus does not raise up sin. He gives us life. So when we accept him, we die with him, and we rise with him, and we live within the Spirit, the law of the Spirit. So also, his obedience brought us into the covenant of faith, meaning the Abrahamic covenant. Before the law, Abraham trusted in what God said, and to him was accounted righteousness. So because he believed in God, he was in right standing with God. So when we believe in the finished work of the cross of Jesus, we are in right standing of God by faith. We do not have to do anything. We just have to believe in what he has done. So because of that, we can have that same relationship that Abraham had with God. So Abraham had a friendship. We are called to have a friendship with God. Having a friendship with God is great, because when you are friends with someone, you reveal close secrets. You visit with one another, and that is exactly the relationship with God. Also, the blessings Abraham has, we have as well. Now, not only that, he has given us healing and deliverance. Freedom is ours. By his stripes we are healed. So we do not have to stand like lepers outside, crying, unclean, unclean, let no one touch us. No, we are healed through Jesus Christ. We can boldly approach him. We can boldly go into his throne room and say, Jesus, here I am. By your stripes I am healed. So that's it from me, and I just want to pray, and I just want to pray that the Lord will bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you, and I pray that you will fulfill your destiny. I pray that you will know Jesus knows what you are going through. Pray that you will be obedient no matter what. So